Who shall pity a charmer that's bitten by a snake? Roughly paraphrasing. All right, because you that old serpent in the garden, that's Esau Edom right now, man. The Lord, we're not gonna pity you in that day. Hold on, somebody dropping. Hello, I'm from Iran. We modern day Iranians are not Persian neither. We are Elamites. You're right. You are Elamites. We are Turks, Turkmens, Kurds, Baluchis, etc. Not Persians. Persians were also Negroid. They had curly beard and dark brown skin color. The word Iran, well, the word came around. Well, I'm sorry. The word Iran came around like the 1930s or whatever. The ancient it's just names get changed over. But you are a biblical Elamite. You know, during the time when the Israelites was in the SHAM palace, when we was being ruled over, yeah, those were actually Elamites. You're right. You're absolutely right. No, that's the spirit. We are the Turks. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you're right. And the Ottoman and Turks during that time in the Middle Ages, you actually had the Moors that was ruling during that time. A lot of them were actually Israelites. So that's why when you say that, you probably talking about during the time of like 323 BC after Constantinople and Constantine when he was ruling. You know, the Moors, who also Israelites, was ruling during that time over there in Turkey. So when you say that they had curly hair, or you know, yeah, you're not lying, because the Israelites was ruling over in Turkey during that time. You're right.
Sirach 15 and 20. He have commanded no man to do wickedly.
Hold on, Salah, hold up. You know, I mean, I'm with you. We were talking about, we were talking about how the Lord, what you have about that curse, Maccabees 1 and 40. Yeah, what you have about what they said they wanted us to forget our laws, to change the ordinances, right?
Psalm chapter 83, and I started at verse 2. For lo, thy enemies take a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Right.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Come on, they taking crafty counsel against the Lord's people, and consulted against the hidden ones. Go ahead.
They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation.
And that happened during the time of first Maccabees. They said, let us cut them off from being a nation. You cannot keep your ordinances anymore. All right? Go ahead.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Okay, so you're not from the tribe of Judah, you're a Negro. You're not from the tribe of Benjamin, you're a West Indian. You're not from the tribe of Manasseh, you're a Cuban. You're not from the tribe of Asher, you're a Colombian. That's what they saying. That's that proverb and that proverb going back to Deuteronomy 28. You know, we are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Here it is. We have somebody from Iran saying that we're not Persians, we're Elamites, because he know who he is. He know his heritage. Our people don't know who we are. What the Lord said: the ox know his owner, his ass, his master's crib. But my people, they do not consider. They don't want to be Israelites. They want to remain in that darkness.
Like you said, the Elam, that's East Indians and the Persians.
East Indians and Persians, yeah.
You know, they had the Medo-Persian Empire. They had a very great empire, man.
Come.
All right, so he's absolutely.
And you know what he just said? Check this out. About 5 to 7 million of us Iranians are black. They live along Persian Gulf. They are responsible for our pop music, which is called Bandari music, which means music of port. You know what? I'm gonna tell them this. A lot of our people, matter of fact, give me Isaiah 11.
He just said it. He just said he might be a James.
I was just gonna say, because somebody please give me Isaiah 11:11. Because once you gotta understand that we've been spread to the four corners of the earth. So you know what? Them people that's playing that pop music, they're more than likely Israelites, man. All right, you could possibly be an Israelite. Okay,
that was a place of our captivity. You know, we were under subjection of the Medo-Persian Empire, and Jackson was, we was under the rule of the Edomites. And also, we were still, a lot of our people are still there in that land.
You say get Isaiah 11:11. Yeah. This is Isaiah 11 verse 11, and it reads, "And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam."
And from Elam, so the Lord said he's going to come get his people from where Elam is. So you may have some Israelites over in Iran, in East India.
And they look just like Elamites.
But they got pop culture.
But they're Jakes. You know, they're Israelites.
Right, they're Israelites.
So the Lord say He gonna gather the remnant of His people from Assyria, Syrian captivity.
Right.
All right.
Salmanasseh.
From Egypt, and from Pathros, from Cush, which is Africa, and from Elam. All right. So we got some of our people in India and Iran. All right, because we've been scattered, like the brother said, we've been scattered throughout all the countries, all right, in the world, man. All right, so, you know, when time passed and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea, all right, and our people are in the islands of the sea, whether it be Hawaii, the Caribbean, all right, or whatever. Even so-called Africa, they have islands, all right, as well. You got what? You got Madagascar, right, you know, right, not too far off the coast. You got Australia, a huge island in the sea. All right, it's connected by itself, even though it's a country. All right, it says, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel. The
outcasts of Israel, you know. Yeah. Hey, and the one thing, hey, just pray that you're an Israelite. That's the one thing. Just pray that you're an Israelite, because you know, because it's a thing called confusion of faces. Prime example, you have Blake Griffin, who's a NBA player. If you know Blake Griffin, we ain't got, I don't think we have the sign.
We left it. We left it.
Yeah. So you have certain people out there that may look like a so-called Caucasian or a so-called Chinese man, but they're really Israelites, you know, because you got to go by the seed of your father. It's not how they look; it's how your spirit reacts. All right, it's about the essence. Your spirit makes up the essence of who you are, regardless of how you look.
Because that's one of the curses. Looking like the other nations, that's a shame. You know, being leprous, you know, that's a curse. You know, and our people have look like the other nations. You know, that's why we're scattered. You know, it's not just about your skin color, so to say.
Right, that's right. Come on, hey, you got something? Go back to that.
This is Psalm chapter 83 and verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
Right.
The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites and Moab and the Hagarenes, Babal and Hammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre.
But the chief heathen nation they mentioned first was Esau, and that goes back to when they made us forget our languages. You know what? And like I say, we've been spread to the four corners of the earth. We had mixed and mingled our seeds amongst the heathen nations as well. All right, this is the book of 1 Ezra, chapter 8, verse 69. It says, the nation of Israel, the princes, the priests, and Levites have not put away from them the strange people of the land, nor the pollutions of the Gentiles, to wit, of the Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Jebusites, and the Moabites, Egyptians, and Edomites. For both they and their sons have married with their daughters, and the holy seed is mixed with the strange people of the land. And from the beginning of this matter, the rulers of the great men have partakers of their iniquity. So there's a lot of our people, man, that spread to the four corners of the earth. All right, and like I said, they may look like an East Indian or Iranian, so to say, or somebody from Turkey, but guess what? They have a lot of spunk like Israelites, man. You know? So, hey, you could possibly be an Israelite. The best thing to do is to pray that you are. They put Reza Shah in Iran, now Turkey to whitewash the region's history. Hey, more than likely, they probably whitewashed our history as well, the Israelites, man. They cut us off from being a nation. That was the whole purpose, man. All right?
Hey, real quick, just as an observation of that brother's spirit, man. So if you're saying that you're not Iranian, you clearly see that we are different people from you. You gotta ask yourself, why is your spirit resonating to this here message? You know what I'm saying? Why is your spirit being brought to watching us? If you think that you're somebody different, and take heed to what we're saying, then because we spread it to the four corners of the earth. Now when you go to Revelation chapter 7, we're talking about the 144,000. Going down, I think, to verse 9, it says there's gonna be a great multitude out of every nation, out of every kindred, out of every tongue. All right, that's a prime perfect example of how in that day, how, you know, some people will say, oh, we're only talking about the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, but our people are scattered amongst all four corners of the earth, man. So they're going to come out looking like East Indians, they're going to come out looking like Iraqis, the Iranians, the Chinese, so-called Chinese, all these different people, man. So that's something that you you know, look at it in your own spirit. You know, why is this making sense to me? Why are you so hooked to this thing that you can visually see that we visually look a little different from you, all right? So, you know what I'm saying? We scattered in all four corners of the earth. You know, you might not be who you think you are. You may be, you know what I'm saying, one of these people that's scattered into the four corners of the earth.
Because your mind is being stirred up. You know, like I was saying, you know, you should take, you know, to ask yourself that question. You know, maybe, you know, read, you know, show thyself approved. You know, that's our spirit. You know, bear witness with thy spirit that we are the children of the Most High. So, you know, they think of a true Elamite spirit. You know, they.
Well, I mean, he's on a video, but he's not, and he's bringing out things, but he's not scoffing. He's not talking so-called shit. He's just so-called putting forth facts to so-called build on top of it. And just discerning those things like, yo, this is not a message that's so-called against you. You know what I'm saying? You find some kind of comfort or edification in it.
Yeah, that's why I was giving a comparison. A true Elamite, you know, they're not going to be on YouTube watching videos like this, you know?
Right.
But he said the paternal grandfather of my mom was a black Iranian. He was from Fars Province, Shiraz City. You know, I'm gonna do some research on that. Just to see, I'm gonna do some research on that area. He might be an Israelite for real, man. It's just a spirit, bro.
Now this is Acts 2:1. And when the day of the Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. And why was that? Because according to the law, the Hebrew Israelite law, no matter where you were scattered abroad, all right, once a year you had to come back, all right, to the Holy Land, all right, and worship the Lord. And the Lord said, appear not empty-handed. So it said they were all in one place. So I'll read that again. It says, and when the day of the Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as a rushing mighty wind, and it filled in the house. And it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as a fire, and it set upon each of them.
Oh, he said grandfather.
All right. So it says, and they were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. So they began to speak with different tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. Reading on, it says, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. All right, so you got Israel came from all nations, all right, into the Holy Land, all right, to partake in the high holy days. Okay, so reading on, it says, now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? And how hear we every man in our own tongue, where we were born? Now let's hear what tongues they were speaking. All right. It says, Parthians, the Medes, Elamites, all right, and the dwellers of Mesopotamia, and in Judea, and Cappadocia.
It said Mesopotamia. That's down there in Iran. Iraq and Iran area. Well, yeah, Iraq primarily.
Yeah.
The whole province down there.
It says Mesopotamia, and in Judea, and Cappadocia, and Pontus, and Asia, and Phrygia, Pamphylia, and Egypt, and in parts of Libya, about Cyrene, strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes, Cretes and Arabians. We do hear them speak in our tongue the wonderful works of the Most High. So you're going to have this word being preached in all different tongues, man. Yep. All right, because you got Israelites spread throughout all those nations, man, all over there in the Middle East. It said Iraq. It's like it said Mesopotamia, which is modern day Iraq. All right, it said Elam. All right, it even said Libya. So you're gonna have Israelites speaking this word and throughout all those different regions, because we've been spread throughout all those regions. So it's a good chance, all right, you that's listening, that you say you're from Iran, it's a good chance that you might be Israelite, man. Because you could be watching anything, but your spirit resonates with this word, and you hear watching, man. So it's a good chance you might be Israelite. Lord's willing, you are, man. All right.
I got two of them to back you up. Like he was just bringing out in these different locations. Now I quoted this, but I'm gonna read it. Revelation 7 and 9. All right, after talking about the 144,000.
Yeah, he might be a Jew.
Revelation 7 and 9. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations, kindreds, peoples, and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. So again, talking about being out of these different nations, different tongues, and all these things, like the brother just read in those different locations. All right, I'm gonna bring out Isaiah 14:1. It says, "For I will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob." So when you look at that, for the most part, you know, you hear us out here saying that the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the children of Israel. But however, when you go further deeper in, all right, you understand that we've been scattered into all four corners of the earth. So as a prime example, if you be an Israelite, you know, like you scattered over there in Iran, calling yourself an Iranian or Elamite, all right, and then all of a sudden you know what I'm saying, you cleaving into the house of Jacob. Obviously that's why you're here on our channel. You know what I'm saying? Something brought you here in the spirit, and now you cleaving back into our own ways. All right. So you know, this is a prime example because a lot of people think this is about a so-called skin color. All right. But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying, we know that our people are scattered on the four corners of the earth and through all different nations, and we're going to look like different people, all right?
So when it started, like that hour,
Not binary. What you looking for? Somewhere where it says it's not a tone.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out your brother's page though. But anybody else got anything else on this matter?
Yeah, this is Psalm 19 and Psalm 19 and 3. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. I'm just about to price that up too. This is Psalm 19 and verse 2. Day unto day utter speech, and night unto night sheweth knowledge. 3. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. So yeah, so hopping on the point, you know, this word is what's gathering, you know, and it's going to be because again, we're scattered the four corners of the earth, you know, we're all going to be speaking different languages, we all come from different backgrounds and had different tongues, you know, but what brings us together is this word, and it says there's no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. So, you know, on YouTube it can be converted into different languages. People had the videos converted to Mandarin, you know, people saying Shalom from India and, you know, wherever else in the part of the earth. Because why? Because what's gathering, this is a spiritual gathering, you know, because all the curses since the beginning, Deuteronomy begins scattered, and Ezra begins scattered, got examples in constantly being scattered because of the curses, you know. So now this is that great gathering, you know, no doubt is but out the great multitude. This is what's happening, you know, by this word is what's gathering.
And that's the spirit, because the elders, again, all have somebody say, Shalom, peace and blessings from Saudi Arabia, from Italy, from Russia, because we've been spread to the four corners of the earth, man, you know. And there's plenty of brothers out here and camps, man, that look like the heathen nations, but they really are our people, you know. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull out one more precept to the spirit, and we're gonna jump back. You got something in particular?
No.
Okay, come.
You had me holding Malachi 3 and 6.
Malachi 3, yeah. We want to bring it out right now. Oh, matter of fact, what's it? Get that in Matthew 24 where it says this verse in preaching the folk. Salaki. And this is just another precept to bring out, just to go to show that the people who understand and resonate with the scriptures, that they are the nation of Israel, no matter how you look. Okay, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 3, verse, I'm gonna say 34. I'm gonna say 33. And yet their reward appeareth not, and their labor have no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow in wealth, and think not upon thy commandments. Weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and theirs also that dwell in the world. And so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel. Or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight? Or what people have so kept thy commandments? Thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept thy precepts, but not the heathen, man. All right? This is going to show you that, hey, if you the spirit, if you can understand and comprehend what we're saying, hey, you could be an Israelite, you know. It's just through the spirit, man, that we pray the Most High reveal it to any one of you out there who may believe that you're not an Israelite. That's why I always say to the confusion of faces in the four corners of the earth, man. So we've been spread to the four corners of the earth. Found it out? Yeah. All right.
This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 14. The gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations.
So hold on, how is it being preached to the whole world? For one, we've been spread and scattered to the four corners of the earth. And then we have something known as the internet, that line in Psalms the 19th chapter. So how else, why do you think the internet was created? Oh, what, so you can make YouTube videos of your kittens? All right, so you can be all on Facebook, flashing your money, trying to holler at men and women, or trying to have a career. No, the internet was created so that we can spread this word to the four corners of the earth, man. Then on top of that, we can spread it to the four corners of the earth. So you got certain brothers that will put the elders put their elders in New York. They start putting videos on the internet like 07. You had one dude over there in what was that? Not Malaysia. Somewhere over there in Asia Minor. He would pray to YAHAWASHI. YAHAWASHI, the Philippine. But he look like a straight Filipino. But he prayed to YAHAWASHI. That's why I say to any of the confusion faces out there, man. Any of the confusion faces out there, you know. Go ahead, Al.
And then the end, then shall the end come.
So this word has to be preached into the four corners of the earth, man. So all these only Negro Israelites, man, you a fool. That's being, the Lord said to be carnal minded is death. It said to be carnal minded is death. And it said if you offend one of these little ones, it's better for you to wrap a great millstone around our neck and to toss yourself into the depths of the sea. So you don't know who you talking to when you out here. You can't just look at somebody. Man, you ain't no Israelite, man. You ain't no. But he may have more flavor than you. He probably can break dance, do head spins. Probably can do a backflip standing in one spot. Probably can slam dunk 360 behind his back. But he look like a so-called Chinaman. I've been on YouTube seeing all kind of videos. I'm like, man, that's a Jake. Bro, I've seen a so-called Chinese-looking man had handles like Kyrie Irving over there, just killing people on the court. I said, that's a Jake. My wife can barely coordinate driving, man. I'm being honest, man. Jeremy Lin, the water. Jeremy Lin, Lin Sanity. And they shut that shit down because he fucked around in Northern Kingdom. Southern Kingdom, like, hey, hold on, man. You confusing the face, but we pure bread over here, dog. I just playing. Hey, give me verse 31, Bible Bishop.
This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 31. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds.
Gather the elect from the four winds. So when we say so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, because the bulk of the Israelites are on the western hemisphere of the earth. Where the Lord, he going to gather his elect from the what?
From the four winds.
From the four winds. That's north, south, east, and west. Okay? I think, a matter of fact, in the book of Isaiah, I think it said that the Lord shall bring judgment from the east, if I'm not mistaken. Something to that extent. So we got to understand, man, that right now, this message is going out to the four corners of the earth. We're not just directing this at a certain people and how they look, man. There are so many confusion and faces out there. It's just crazy. It's a shame. Like Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake, man, he a Jake. You know what I'm saying?
Notice how you said it's a shame.
Yeah, shame,
that's
bro.
what confusion faces me.
It's a shame. And it's shame unto us. It says that in Baruch. Yep, it says it's a shame because you look shamefaced to them, man. To the people. Go ahead, out. You got something else?
Finish it.
Oh, yes, the spirit.
From one end of heaven to the other.
Come. Oh, let me pull this out real quick because that brother just mentioned something. It reminded me of it, man. And, you know, we just speaking to the spirit right now. This is Baruch chapter 1, verse, I'm going to say 15. And ye shall say to the Lord our God belongeth righteousness, but unto us the confusion of faces, as it is come to pass this day unto them of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and to our kings, and to our princes, and to our priests, and to our prophets, and to our fathers. So why is there confusion of faces? Verse 17. For we have sinned before the Lord, and disobeyed him, and have not hearkened unto the voice of the Lord our God, to walk in the commandment that he gave us openly, man. So that's what happened to us. That's why there's confusion of faces. We had to be put out of the land. We had to be scattered amongst all the heathens, man. And that's what happened, you know.
Real quick, just because y'all going pretty much in the time frame, man. This is how it's going to all wind up ending up. All right, and we're in the midst of that right now. This is Ezekiel 37 and 21. I mean, really right up above that is talking about this here sign, you know, talking about the two sticks becoming one. All right, Ezekiel 37 and 21. And say unto them, thus saith, this is talking about the Israelites, and say unto them, thus saith Yahawah, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and will bring them into their own land. All right, so what? That's the time frame that we living in now. And hey, Lord willing, you know, this here person might be an Israelite. You seeing this actually happening in your face right now. We right here in Florida. All right, this here word is going out on the four corners of the earth via the internet, and you have people waking up all the way on the other side of the earth that don't even look like us. You see them? I don't know what the person look like, but I'm pretty much gonna guess that they probably look like a so-called Iranian. All right, they don't look like how we so-called look over here. But what that spirit, hey, like the scriptures say, my sheep hears my voice and they do follow. All right, the spirit is reaching out, and then the Lord is opening up the ears of his people, man. And they're being gathered back together, man. They're being raised up first and foremost spiritually, and all these different places where they scattered before the Lord actually come and bring that physical redemption. All right.
Right. That's right, brother. That's right. That physical redemption, man. Right. So right now we trying to redeem our people spiritually. All right, by waking them up.